Hi, everybody. This is going to be a little different blog banter Friday. Hopefully, if you're listening to this podcast, you're excited to hear a little something new. This week, we have launched our new WOW customer service course. What we thought would be fun is to release some of the video and podcast audio so you can actually hear what you'd be getting. This course is awesome. Everybody needs customer service skills, even your veterans. These are little tips and tricks to make our customer the center of everything that we do and put deposits in our customer piggy bank. We're going to first start off with a release of our 12 customer service philosophies. This is the foundation for the whole course. If you master the philosophies, that's a mindset. If you master the mindset of good customer service, your team's going to be in an awesome, awesome spot. So listen as I break down the 12 philosophies of customer service. And if you're interested in the course, check out the podcast notes, check out the YouTube notes. However you're watching this, go to our website. You can either subscribe to our school and it's in there. Awesome opportunity because there's also cross-selling, how to reduce remarketing, how to handle price, all sorts of lessons for your team. Or you can go ahead and buy the course outright as a one-time fee. So if you're listening to this before October 31st, 2022, you can get it at a really great rate. So any questions, let us know. But I'm not going to stop you. Let's dive into our 12 philosophies as we break down what's important in customer service. All right, this is going to be the backbone of our course. This is really how and why our core philosophies, our values of customer service that we want to make sure you all know and can embrace easily in your agency. The first one that we talk about is your role is relationship builder. So for many of us, we might think we're transactions, oh, we're only service, we're not here to sell. Pretty much all of that is false in the APP world. Sometimes we get stuck in transaction mode. That's not where we want to live as customer service professionals. We actually want to put the customer at the center of everything that we do. And we have to remember that we may only speak to this customer once every 3 years. We want to put the customer, and this includes relationship building with our insured. And what that means is when people call in, it has to be a warm transaction. It cannot be something that is cold or just sort of something that we're doing to get off of our plate. You want that caller to feel like this is the best call of their day. How do we build relationships? We listen to personal cues, pets, kids, vacations, plans, and stop and talk to them about it. I love it. And this is something that you're going to hear us say over and over again. Add that to your management system, whether it's a sticky note or some systems like Hawksoft actually have a section. You just have to remember to go look for it. But when your caller calls in and can say, hey, last time we talked, Timmy was playing soccer. Is he still playing soccer? That melts the entire transaction down. It's not just I'm calling in to take money. It's a relationship. Your client is a person first and a policy second. And so we have to engage with them as a person primarily. Your call should be like calling a warm, warm friend. There's the tale of two doctors. A few years ago, I broke my ankle. And I'll tell you what, I went to the orthopedic doctor, very transactional. I actually kind of called it like the Walmart of doctor's offices. You were in for no more than like 7 minutes. They took a look at the x-ray. You were on an assembly line and that was it. So 30 days after breaking my ankle, we didn't think we needed surgery. He looked at me and said, I think we're going to need to do surgery potentially. And I said, well, what? Why? I've done everything you've asked. It feels better. And he just said, well, it's not healing quite as fast as I want. I think we're going to have to schedule surgery. Now, this meant like re-breaking everything, starting from square one again. And anybody who knows me knows that that's like my worst nightmare. So I stopped at him and looked at him and I go, what's my name? And he could not answer my name because I was patient number, 27 that day in the Walmart assembly line. And at that moment, I said, no one's cutting into my ankle if you don't know my name. Now, on the flip side, I had another doctor who I loved. He unfortunately retired. Now, I'd see him once a year. He saw hundreds of people, thousands of people in between me, right? People with other health issues. I was very vanilla. And lo and behold, one of the things that he did was he wrote my dog's name on my file. Every time he walked in, I did this for 10 years straight. He'd say, how's Roxy? And it just made me feel at ease. Now, remember, you're in a doctor's office. You're like pretty much naked. They're going to weigh you. Nothing is good about this transaction. The difference was he stopped and cared about me as a person. The other person didn't care, looked at an x-ray, no feeling for the fact of re-breaking my ankle was going to impact my life. And that is how you win a customer service. Right versus fast. People want their insurance done right, not fast. To get insurance done right, you have to take time with the client, okay? Clarifying the question, concerns, or requests are huge. Take time to educate the client and double check your work. So at the end of the day, our job is accuracy, not speed. That means a client might call in and say, I'm changing a vehicle. Okay, which one are you swapping? There's probably about 10 to 12 other questions that you should be looking at. And we have a full endorsement pack that we have as part of our online store that you can take a look at that. But who's the car's name in? Where is it being garaged? Do you need gap insurance? Let's review your coverages. That is the goal of customer service. The goal of customer service is not a transaction. And then, even worse, if you don't change the other policy or say that it's a new policy coming on board, you don't add it to the umbrella, we're not double checking our work, making it harder. You want to take time with the client. They may only call in every 2.7 years. We have to do the right thing on every instance. Your brain is like a magnet, and this is the problem. When a caller calls in, you're in the middle of doing something. Your brain wants to go back to what you were doing. You have to stop, put that there, have your open activity, and think solely about the customer on the phone with you in that moment. Don't be worried about this over here. You will get to it. The customer is your number one priority, and you can't speed through that and just think, oh, it should be done fast, fast, fast. If you want to be the McDonald's of insurance, there's already that out there, and they have far better technology than most independent agents do to be fast and slick like that. We want to be a fine dining experience where people leave feeling satisfied, helped out, and full of insurance, of course. Focus on what the policy is insuring. Most people don't care about the policy. They care about what the policy is protecting. They don't care about insurance. They care about their home. They don't care about life insurance. They care about their spouse. So you have to talk to them about what they're insuring. What's the business? What's the history of their business? Tell me about your home, your vehicle, your toys. People who have toys have an experience. They have hobbies. This is important to them. And remember, people buy insurance for the worst days of their lives. Connect to them on what they're protecting, not the price. Many of you have taken our course in the past. You know, my husband has a blue Mustang race car. It's got a supercharger and a roll cage in it. It's loud and it's smelly, and we don't even drive it that much. I don't even like being in it. But when my husband thinks about insuring that Mustang, which is almost uninsurable, right? You can talk to him about the tools, about the this, about the that. That's what he's interested in. He's not interested in any way, shape, or form about the policy. So get him talking about his car, and you'll get him to open up his wallet to protect it. You start talking insurance jargon, he shuts down and says, what do I have to do to get this policy and just move on with my life? You have the power to influence the customer. Client is entitled to their feelings. The client's perception is their version of reality. They don't do insurance every day, but we do. So insurance is overwhelming and complicated sometimes for us. It's 10 times worse for them. We don't have to fix their insurance, but we do need to advocate, right? So a lot of times people come in with problems. Some problems are not fixable. We have to advocate and share people what we did, but we aren't always in a position to fix every insurance problem. Clients may like insurance, but they can like doing business with you and be clear on your role and activity. So in our blue Mustang race car adventure, our car was being dropped from Haggerty. It had just gotten to be too race car-y and a little less parade car-y, which was fine. But all I got was an email from the account manager saying, unfortunately, Haggerty's dropping your policy. We don't have anything else, good luck, basically. And I lost my mind. First of all, that should have never been an email. Second of all, I called the agency and I said, what's going on? All over the management system notes were how they escalated it to the head of underwriting. They fought hard. She'd been working on this for a couple weeks now. The challenge was she didn't tell me any of that. So in my mind, I just got a really big nasty gram and got delivered bad news, not in the most pleasant way. The client's entitled to their feelings. We have to be there and share with them exactly what we're doing on their behalf so that we can become their champion and their cheerleader. First impressions matter. We don't speak to most of the clients all the time. I know in your head you're thinking about the frequent flyers or saying, Kelly, our clients. No, not true. Okay. Is the client an interruption or an opportunity? Because we do not exist without our clients calling in. So if you're like, the phone's ringing off the hook, they're calling you, they're not calling the competition. That's the mindset you need to be in. Because what happens when our phone stops ringing? Our role is to be there when a client needs us, not just when it's convenient for us. So lo and behold, several years ago, when I first, more than several, time gets by it. But when I first got into getting on the road and going to insurance agencies, the first day I picked up on something. Every time the phone rang, the agency was like, Second agency I went to, Third agency I went to, I stopped and said, do you need a cough drop? It seems like every time the phone rings, you get a little hoarse. What's going on? Well, I'm just in the middle of something, and then the phone rings. And the mentality was broken. Now, I don't care how good you are at faking it. If you're doing before you pick up the call, some of those callers, they're going to feel the love. And that is not our role as customer service professionals. Our goal is to be warm and loving. And no matter what happened, no matter what we're doing, that caller is the most important thing because they need us in that moment. But that's a mind shift that we have to do. So if you need a cough drop before you answer the phone, that's a sign that this course is going to do wonders for you. One of my favorite ones. If it's not in the management system, it didn't happen. You see this in almost all of our courses because I'm super passionate about it. But there's way too many ways that information comes across your desk. Everything needs to get attached and documented in your system because we cannot give wow customer service if we don't remember what happened. We're in the client's accounts in 5 different places. And most importantly, another team member can't step in and help if we're out for the day. So it is selfish to not document your management system. And yes, I'm saying it is selfish. We're not thinking about the agency's errors and omissions, the frustration it may cause our team, the fact the client may have to call back in again, and the fact that we might be dropping the ball on service. So from this point forward, if it's not in the management system, it didn't happen. And it needs to be in the management system as close to real time as possible. You can't care more about their insurance than the client does. This is another one of our famous sayings. Your role is to be an educator, not a babysitter. Educator share was needed by when to have the best experience. Babysitters continue to call and hound clients for what they need. And often we use customer service voice, so we're not even really diving deep into being a professional. When you get a chance, if you don't mind, and you're busy, your real value is being an educator. So when you say yes to over servicing one client, we're often saying no to getting proactive with another client. Whenever we say yes to something, we're always saying no to something else. So the bottom line is we have to set up healthy boundaries with our client. Remember, if it's a coverage issue, the carrier's trying to reach them, you're trying to reach them. If they're going dark, there's only so much we can do. We can't over service one book and under service our most profitable book. Everybody deserves fair treatment, which means we have to care equally about everybody, not just our least profitable clients. No apologies. Oh, this is another one of my absolute favorites. I hear so many recorded phone calls where people are apologizing for rate, apologizing for this, apologizing for a claim not being covered. You only apologize when you personally did something not right. The rates increased. Did you do anything to cause that? No. It's either the carrier needing to increase rate or the client who did something that caused their rates to go up. We often apologize too much and it hurts our relationships. No one wants the apologetic insurance agent. And also, if you are apologizing for something that you didn't do, you're admitting guilt and fault. And now there's a little tinge in the client's mind of, well, they just apologized. They probably did something wrong. It was wrong that my rate went up. You start to diminish our credibility when we over apologize. But when you do have to apologize, it should be meaningful and deserved because there was an issue. What you can say instead of I'm sorry is I'm disappointed to hear that you had that experience. Or, oh my goodness, that sounds like it must have been so difficult. I'm glad you called so we can get that handled. You should stop, take a picture of this slide, write this down. But these are things to say instead of I'm sorry. We apologize only when we do something wrong. Outcomes versus tasks. For many service reps, we start thinking about task. But I want us to think about outcomes. The outcome is a delighted customer. So we need to avoid that checklist mentality of check, I changed the vehicle, check, I made the payment, check, I did this. There is the extra percentage you can do on every call that's going to give wow customer service. The transaction is not wow customer service. This means you want to advocate for your client and go the extra mile. An email is not always the best tool for communication. We're going to talk about that in some future slides. I also hear this a lot. Well, I'd like to email the client so I can attach it in the system. That is a CYA, cover your butt mentality, and can cause conflict. If it's not giving good customer service, we can always have a conversation and then document it with an email. But simply operating off of email because it's easier for you and you want to document your file and cover your butt is not good customer service. Success is your mission, which means when somebody calls in to make a payment, success is getting them on EFT, not just taking their payment. Success is making sure that we've reviewed all their coverages when people are buying a different vehicle. Success is when someone's rates are high that we take the time and talk to them, not just say, I'll reshop you and hang up the phone. That is being transactional, not driving experience. Raise your hand. This one is one I think we all struggle with. There's a saying that no one likes asking for help, but everyone will give help. Customer experience is a group and team activity. You do not control how much work you have that day. What that completely means is we need to operate like a team and not drown one team member or keep saying how busy we are so no one can ask for help. We all need to work together. There is no my client in what wow customer service. I hear this a lot. Well, my client, no, it's the agency's client. And that means that that client deserves to get the best of the entire agency, not just one person. But asking for help protects the agency from a bad online review because we dropped a ball. The client feeling forgotten about. Remember, takes 12 positive interactions for one negative one. That's a lot. That's why we have to operate like a team. It diminishes team morale. So, not asking for help is selfish. You're thinking about yourself and your ego versus the client. We have a saying, raising your hand for help is a sign of courage, not weakness. So, do it pretty please. If you're unsure who to ask for help for, now's a great time to stop the video and talk about it as a team. Like, organize who to go to help for. By the way, the other thing I want to say is accept help the way it is given. What that means is help isn't always going to come to you in the way you want to. It might come to you in quiet time. It might come to you and somebody looking at your tasks say, we don't need to do that. Accept it the way it's given. The NANA principle. Insurance is really complicated, and we can't use insurance jargon with our clients. We need to explain things like we would to our NANA. You wouldn't use things like endorsement and comprehensive coverage and deductible and use all these subrogation word with NANA. No, you would not. Clients are often embarrassed they don't know, so they avoid asking. They get overwhelmed and they want to stop the conversation. When you confuse, you lose. So you simplify insurance to win at customer service. So treat everybody like you would your Nana, and you're going to see a lot of great success. Everyone's role in the agency is growth. I don't want to hear I'm not a salesperson. I have seen more service people when someone calls in wanting to reduce coverage, go into like mama bear beast mode and shut that person down on why they're not going to reduce coverage. We are all here to grow this business. Growth can come from retention, coverage increases, referrals, cross-selling, good online reviews. That's all of our responsibilities. We benefit from agency growth. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I never want to hear anybody taking this course say, oh, I'm just a CSR. I'm just a service rep. I just do service. You maintain the client's book of business. That's a huge responsibility. So if you say, I'm just you have to ask yourself, am I approaching this as a service professional, or am I approaching this from a teeny tiny small place that's not going to get me where I really want to be? I think you know the answer. So these are our service philosophies. This means you need to think about a growth mindset being in the service world. This isn't just a check in, check out job. This is a career. And this is an opportunity to grow. You can learn to do anything you want. Challenges help you grow. Feedback is constructive. I like to try new things. Give me the difficult customers. I want to challenge myself to win them back over. But the fixed mindset is failure and limited abilities. I'm either good or I'm not. I can't do that. I'm not a salesperson. I don't like to be challenged. Listening to recorded phone calls? No. Feedback and criticism are personal. I stick to what I know. This is an opportunity. Take the opportunity to grow and stretch, and you will see the benefits of it in your career. All right. We're going to next go up to the anatomy of a great service call. All right. What did you think about that? Awesome. We do want to associate, though, the blog of the week, which is the anatomy of a great service call, with this blog. So we're next going to go through one of the mini sections inside of the course, which is the anatomy of a great service call. So if you've read our blog, you can check that out. And you can also watch us break down the steps. And because everything needs a structure. What do we do at the beginning, the middle, the end? What we find is so often we make it a transaction. In our customer experience course or WOW customer service, we want to make it more than just a transaction, but an experience. So check it on out. We're going to break down the anatomy of a great service call. All right, so now I want to talk about the anatomy of a great service call. This is kind of what you do at the beginning, the middle, and the end. Every client interaction has the opportunity to be a great story, and that's what we want to craft every time we talk to a customer. So I loved this kind of analogy. A great customer service rep has foresight with follow-up questions. Customers are anticipated, advanced. Great reps think about ways to avoid similar issues in the future. There's a thoughtful tone. Emails help articles are concise as possible, but thorough. Every customer interaction is friendly and cooperative. A funny bone. Having some humor in customer service will give you a long way. So smiling and interacting and being personable are part of it. A little humor can also be very welcomed. A helping hand. Customer service is a team sport. What that means is there's no my customer. Everybody can dive in and help. Fast feet. You got to be proactive in customer service. Move toward the problem. Great reps are quick to pick up a ringing phone, eager to pick up slack, and show an ambitious streak. This also means that we run towards helping clients. We don't avoid it. We don't avoid bad news. Mastermind. Great reps exhaust all their resources to solve a problem. but they're mindful of others' time too. So we're not going to go down a rabbit hole. There's open ears. Customers will tell you what's wrong. Account managers know about prior issues, listen for clues. So, as opposed to just thinking linearly, they're listening and asking questions and engaging. There's a kind heart. Empathy is critical. Contacting support is the last thing a customer will try to do. No one wants to have to call it with a problem. The iron stomach. Confidence is key when offering recommendations and instructions to customer instills trust. And lastly, customer service reps have thick skin. Customers may see things in the heat of frustration. Great reps take it in stride, don't hang up the phone, and then tell 10 of their coworkers, "Can you believe this guy?" I just thought this was such a great analogy of an awesome customer service rep. So here's our 6 steps to a great customer service call, the wow factor, right? A warm greeting and transfer to the right party. Whoever picks up the phone must defend the team's time. What this means is if they say, "I'm looking for Judy," we don't just get them to Judy. We ask the follow-up question. "Actually, can I ask what your call is regarding? Or is this about sales or service?" There's a million ways we're going to teach you in this course about how to have those right talking points. But if Judy's not the right person and Judy's our highest paid account manager, we don't want them taking a payment. We want them to be loving and serving and being proactive with their clients because we have a whole team of people who that's their role. Confirm and clarify the client's request. This is also big. What this means is we need to be very clear what the client is looking for and expecting. We don't leave anything to chance. Don't assume anything. Identify the solution and first call resolution. The empowered customer service rep has their headset on, is typing as we go, and putting information right into the systems that they have. They're not taking it down on paper to hope to get to put it in at some point. That's where balls get dropped. That's where mess happens. That's where we have to call back the client because we can't read our handwriting. They all set expectations. We're either doing first call resolution or there's a clear expectation of what's next and when. They always offer a coverage review. While I have you on the phone, do you want me to take a quick look at your coverages? And they have gratitude and documentation. Gratitude means at the end, "I've noticed you've been a customer for 5 years. I just want to say thank you so much. That means the world to us." And their files are well documented so that if they won the lottery at lunch, anyone could step in and take over and help that customer. So it's really 6 steps: the greeting and the transfer, identifying what the client needs, figuring out the solution, setting any expectations, offering a review of coverage, and then gratitude and documentation. And if we do all of that, we're going to have winning customer service calls every single time. All right, up next, we're going to talk about the 10 things to never say on a service call. I can't wait to share that with you. What could be in there? All right, I hope you've enjoyed a little twist up from what we've been used to doing. We appreciate all of you guys for listening. Again, can't say it enough. Your team needs training. And so often we forget our service team out there and they're our biggest labor force. So let's give them the tools that they need. You'll see me say in this course many times, it's not the service team, they're service professionals. Just like a sales professional, these are service professionals. And we treat service professionals with respect when we give them training. So get this training into the hands of your team so they can wow your customers. Again, you can subscribe to our online school, or you could buy the course outright, or work with one of my lovely team members in person on Zoom, get a coach, make sure your team feels the love. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.